In this video, I want to talk about a few configuration options I like to choose in my SQL Server Management Studio setup. So the Management Studio, when it first gets installed, has some basic setups, but they're not that great. Well, I think they're fine for many things, but not everything I'd like to see. For one thing, when I execute the query and I get the results, I see the results down below, but the results are relatively small for many environments. Certainly for presentation, they're not great. I'd like to be able to change that. Another thing is I'd like to be able to show and hide these results, and I usually put a button right up here next to the execute so I can do that. That's missing right now. Line numbers are a nice convenience. They don't really do anything, but they're nice to see cosmetically, so I can refer to a particular line number. So I usually turn those on. And finally, the debug bar will pop up a whole bunch of extra windows if you press it, and I find that to be confusing. So I usually remove that debug option from the toolbar, because I can always go up to debug and start it from there. I guess I said finally, but I guess I didn't mean it. I also want to be able to move this drop-down box, which controls which database you're currently in, to the right-hand side to be over the top of my query window. So to do that, unfortunately, you can't slide it sideways. Basically, you have to put in some other type of window, like Query Designer, or some other window, excuse me, some other toolbar in front of it. So if you put another toolbar in front of it, you can move it sideways. Now, the only downside, of course, is that if you've never used this toolbar, that's not really useful. So you might choose one that you think would be more useful, maybe like text editing. Kind of drag that into place, and that way you can do things like, in this case, let's see, that's what I want now. Is there anything really useful there? Not a whole lot, to tell you the truth. Display quick info. Not a whole lot in there of use. Yeah, a couple buttons. Could be worse. Put a bookmark on something. But at least now it's moved it over to the top of the query window. So now I can just go ahead and choose the particular database I want to work with, and I can see it there. Let's put the line numbers on. That's easy. Tools, options. You look over here in the text editor. You want all the languages to have this, so I click on all languages, and then it's under general, line numbers. So selecting that little text box right there will do the job. Checkbox right there. The next one is trying to get this debug menu item gone, and also put the show hide option down at the bottom. To do that, I right click on the toolbar and I go down to customize. Now, this is the SQL editing bar. You can see if I turn it on and off, that's the one we're dealing with. So I'm going to customize that bar. And I do so by coming over to, you would think it would be here, but no, it's over here. Commands. You go to the toolbar, choose the toolbar in question, SQL Editor, and you'll find the options down here. I want to delete debug, and I want to add a new command. I add the command, I scroll down all the way to the bottom, choose window on the left hand side of the little category section, and then choose the show result pane and say OK. You may have to adjust it up and down to your preference. I like to have it right next to my execute button. And that way I can show the results, execute the code, hide the results, show the results with ease. And as far as setting the fonts or making this larger, the user interface, I do that certainly for presentations, but it's also helpful if you're trying to troubleshoot or read things. It's nice to have it larger. It's under Options, and you go to Environment, and look under the Fonts and Color section. So for my needs, I want to change the let's see, environment font. Make it larger. I'll use something that's a little bit easier to see. So I'm going to use the semi-bold Sego UI semi-bold. I find that's useful for presentations again. I'll make it larger so that my students can see what I'm looking at. And you can see that one has immediate effect. It makes the videos a whole lot easier to read. Now, some people don't like the bold, but again, I'm doing it for presentations so that people watching my videos can have an easier time seeing what I'm pointing to. Next, I'm going to change the option for the grid view. Once again, I want to make it easier to see. In this case, I'm going to change it over to Arial Narrow. And the reason is because I want to be able to make it large enough, but I don't want to make it take up too much real estate. So making it narrow seems to work out well for me. Now you see this as pop-up box has occurred that you have to restart Manager Studio in order for this to take effect. And one thing I will tell you is that if you get this pop-up box, only change one thing and then restart. If you restart to make two changes, only one will take effect. So for each change like that, you have to restart Management Studio. And even then sometimes, I've noticed that those can be hard to get to stick. So you may have to set it a few different times. Let's see, what am I doing? So I'm not so sure that that's any better. So I'm going to come over here, Options, Fonts and Colors, Grid Results, and yep, it didn't change. And I've seen that happen before. I'm not sure why, but I did make a few changes before I restarted. And so that probably is it. So this time I make a change. Okay. And I restart again. Now the new version of Management Studio is supposed to be out. It's supposed to be a complete rebuild. So I'm hoping some of these issues will go away, but this particular issue has been around for a very long time. Oh, what am I doing here? I need to test it. Okay, much bigger. So now it's easier for my students to see what's going on. If it's too big for you, just adjust it to your needs. But now you can see how these settings work, and hopefully they will help you to enjoy working with Management Studio. Thanks for watching. Take care.